Okay, so one thing that I learned uh, uh, basically with my experience and observation is that the technical knowledge one requires to be able to be successful. Successful is a very sort of cliche word, well used, overused, but to do well in your life, uh, technical knowledge is only 20% of the game. Okay, again, it's statistically proven, there's research on that. The rest of the 80% is your psychology and your philosophy. And within your psychology, it's your thinking patterns. Okay. Now let me give you an example. Okay. I'm not gonna name any person, but I'll tell you with experience. Okay. So, something that I read. This is ancient wisdom. It's coming from ancient wisdom. It says, if you are feeling demotivated, or if you have that fear to take that next decision or that next step in your life, the major decision in your life, the major step in your life, if you have that fear in you, go and teach it to others. And that removes your fear. If you're demotivated, go and motivate others. What happens with that? Jasim, tell me, what happens when you motivate others?
You get motivated.
You get motivated
You feel
first.
positive energy.
You get motivated first. Because when you're saying motivational words, you're automatically motivating others, as well as you're motivating yourself. Okay. At the same time, the biggest challenge, the reason most people procrastinate, and it applies to a few here and a lot of people out there, a lot of people procrastinate. It's not because they're being lazy. Okay. Yes, some people are lazy as well. Human nature is lazy for that matter. But most people procrastinate for one reason. That is because they're scared of losing. They're scared of making mistakes. Okay. So I'm picking up a pattern here, a psychological pattern. Okay. Raise your hand if you work because at the end of the day or end of the month, you want to make money. You want to make sure that there's enough money in the account. Raise your hand. Be honest. Yep. Okay.
What did you say? There's enough money in the
In the
account.
account. You're practically pursuing results, right? Raise your hand if you're pursuing results. You are in deep trouble. Okay. So for those of you who've just raised their hand, you're in deep trouble. Okay. You need to change this pattern. Okay. You cannot chase results. If you chase results, they'll always be in front of you. You'll never get there. Okay. Or unless you're an exceptionally lucky, you may get there, but most likely you will never get there. Okay. And that's because
My
that is
book for
the
this week, sorry to interrupt, my book for this week is Mind Over Money. And what you are going with is exactly what Claudia Hammond also talks about, in very similar lines, not in the exact words, but in very similar lines.
I've not done this book, but I'll can you remind me after this call so I purchase it? But you're pursuing the wrong things, guys. Okay. The right thing to pursue is an experience. I'll give you an example. Okay. I bought, propertyconfused.com for experience. I when I was buying it, I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. Okay. I'll tell you, it's going to lead to a educational platform like blogs and vlogs, right? And that eventually leads to directing traffic. There's always a benefit behind it, but at the front end, it's going to do what? It's going to help people, right? Okay. But at the back end of it, it will direct traffic towards our property platforms, okay, which will eventually be monetized. But at the front end, it's just going to help people. It's going to create, concepts like, or for that matter, not necessarily concepts, but it's going to work on ideas like earn and learn, stuff like that, where people can invest and learn at the same time. It's going to do stuff like that. Okay. But its eventually main purpose will be to help people out. Okay. But when I was buying it, I just bought it for the experience. And then later I decided what to do with it. Likewise, I bought diabetesconfused.com this morning, not because I want to make money. Yes, money is a byproduct of bringing value. but because I wanted to make sure that people out there who need help can be helped. Okay, I'm doing it for the experience. Okay, you walk into, for example, you raise your hand if you do a lot of takeaways. Raise your hand. In this country, people are addicted to takeaways. Raise your hand. No? Oh, that's good. Not many people do takeaways here. Good. But people are practically addicted to takeaways in this country, especially with COVID. Takeaways have gone up by, Lavanya, correct me if I'm wrong, about 30%?
60%.
Okay. Now, instead of doing takeaways 5 a month or 10 a month, it's better to walk into the best restaurant in the town and experience it. Okay, because when you will look back at your life, you would have experienced the best food rather than mediocre 20 meals or 10 meals. Does that make sense? Okay, next time you walk into a shop and buy yourself a t-shirt, okay, instead of buying 10 t-shirts, buy one which is really amazing. Okay, experience. Likewise, the same formula applies to everything that you touch. The next time you're looking to convert a HMO, do something creative in there that no one is doing. Okay, it could be, when you take on our HMO property, we'll give you 5 Audible books for free. Do something unusual. Do something for the experience of it. Okay, if you live in our HMO, we've got classes for you for health or well-being, okay, for free. You pick up some premium content from someone, with a collaboration, you hand it out for someone's well-being. Okay, I don't know what you're going to do, but make it more unique in some way or the other for the experience of it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Raise your hand if I'm making sense. Okay, provide a decent treadmill at your HMOs. Okay, you can get a really good, the other day, not the other day, a couple of years ago, sorry, I went to see a treadmill which was £1,700 in the market, brand new. I was getting a second-hand one in exactly pristine condition for £400. Okay, on Facebook, provide a treadmill in your HMO. You'd be surprised at how many people will take your HMO room because you are showing this initiative. Raise your hand if you believe you're going to show this initiative and people will take on that. People could see through. Raise your hand if you think they will see through. Okay, and it doesn't cost you a lot of money. You might think it's going to cost you a lot of money. It doesn't. It just costs. But the amount of people who will take more interest in taking your rooms will be enormous. And guess what? When they jump on a treadmill, or you provide them with a class, and then you provide them with an Audible book, whatever, right? Credit costs £4 for that matter. Do you think they're going to go and talk about you? Do you think that's going to bring you more business? Can you see that at the front end of experience, yes, you're helping people out and you're creating a great experiential life. Okay, but at the back end of it, there's always money that follows. Because when you bring value, money follows, while you are actually pursuing experiences. Does that make sense? Okay. And at the same time, I'm going spiritual here. Okay. We don't live an external life. We live only an internal life. Raise your hand if you know what I mean and if you want me to elaborate. Do you want me to elaborate? Someone say yes, no? Okay, so an example for you would be what you are experiencing now while you're listening to me. Is this an external experience or internal experience? When you're listening to me, whatever you feel is internal, right? It's not external. When you are sad or you're happy, is that internal or external? Internal, right? I need your help, guys. This is a engaging session. Yes, no, raise your hand, please. Someone engage with me.
Internal, I said.
Okay, internal. Jasim, so you gauge with me here, okay? So wherever you're sitting at the moment, the feeling of that place, is that internal or external?
Internal.
When you go out and you get a yes or a no from a client, what you feel is internal or external? Jasim?
What I feel is still internal.
Okay. When you get your baby in your hand, internal feeling, external feeling?
Again, internal. It's all in the mind.
Okay. So guys, you are living a life which is just purely experiential. Okay. Either you win or you lose. There is no losing, it's just learning. Okay. But let's say either you win or you lose for the purpose of context. It's all internal experiences. Okay. The problem or the conflict you have in your life is you're pursuing results while life is all experiential. Raise your hand if you know what I mean. I just want to make sure that I'm explaining this correctly. Okay. So there's a major conflict in your life while you are pursuing external results, but the life is all experiential and internal. I would like you to apply this to your business, guys. Don't pursue results, pursue experiences. And it can be applied to any context in business. Literally any context. Give me an example if you want me to give you an example or an idea based on experience, creating experiences in your business. Give me an example, Jason.
One experience in my business, like whether it's the consulting or the construction, is a positive feeling left with the client when I've delivered to them.
Yep.
Rather than, it's not the assignment that I've delivered to them, it's the feeling of relief that it is being delivered to them. I don't know if some of you saw my post recently on Facebook,
Yes.
where one of the clients commented about what I worked for him. The feeling that he gave over there was, I could not, the way Jasim put this whole thing to me together, I could get this over the line, while most everyone else thought I cannot get it over the line.
Yeah.
So the feeling that I've left is that it is not the assignment that I've delivered to him, it's that is the experience he has gained in what I am doing as part of my consulting assignment.
That is true. So,
and as part of my construction assignment, what the feeling I'm delivering to my clients is, the experience I'm delivering is hassle-free, contact-free, not having to deal with multiple parties at various stages, taking a break of it can be done.
Okay. So Jasim, give me a context of something that you're working on while you're pursuing results. I want to make it more, I want to make sure that you don't pursue results, that you pursue experience. Give me a context so I could give you an idea on how that looks or how it can be worked on.
Okay, let's just talk about the rugby project which I'm pursuing. Yeah.
Okay.
Now
it's an HMO conversion, right?
No, it's not HMO conversion. It's a new build development.
It's a new build development. Okay.
It's a greenfield new build development site which I'm doing as part of Mandara Homes.
Okay.
With Tejas.
Okay.
So right now what I'm chasing for the development finance company has raised so many answers. I'm chasing everyone so they have all those answers as soon as possible, and we get the money into the solicitor's account and we proceed with exchange and completion at the same time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Now, like, how would I am working towards a very clear goal.
Yes.
The goal is completion so that we can take over the site and we can start building.
Okay, here is my question to you. How can you make the building green?
That we are already focusing on in terms of adding solar panels to see if we can reduce the dependency on the normal grid. We are trying to see if we can reduce the gas dependency, but we are still not certain about it. We are trying to add. Okay, this is anyway a council mandated requirement of adding electrical vehicle charging points.
Okay.
So the solar generated directly feeds into the electrical vehicle charging points. So electrical vehicle charging is not dependent on the grid. Then making it more like the right insulation to ensure it does not require so much energy to heat.
Okay, so here it is. Okay,
these are some factors that we are bringing in, and also like in terms of like at the part of the end delivery, we've so far taken a conscious call that we might have to spend a little more for the bathroom suites and the kitchen. Let's go ahead and spend that and give that experience to the buyer rather than they getting a finish of a standard bathroom suite or a kitchen. Like spending rather than a laminate worktop, putting a little more money, we can deliver a stone worktop.
Okay.
It's not too much additional money, but the experience or the user finish at the back end is much higher than
much higher, much higher. Yes.
Perceived value is much higher than actual value.
That's right. That is true. Okay. So here it is. When you, for example, you already started working on this. Okay.
Yeah.
I would like you to start marketing the sales of this now. Okay. And your marketing needs to be focused on how green it is going to be, and the initiatives you're taking and the kind of things you're going to bring on that. And when you are selling this, that make sure that message is very clearly, with a lot of clarity, conveyed to the estate agent, or if you're selling it yourself, for that matter, I would say sell it yourself, that it is clearly conveyed to the potential buyers. My aim here is that you guys all leave with a new pattern in your mind, which is that you're pursuing experiences, not results. If you pursue results, there'll always be, you'll always be chasing results. Pursue experiences, you'll be surprised that the results will follow you. That means people will come behind you. People would want to do business with you if you pursue experiences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everyone understands this in their own context, guys. Okay. Yeah. Does anyone else give me an example?
Jack, I think for people to understand in their context, you will have to speak to them from their context and then explain it to them.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's why I took your context.
My context and maybe Surat's context or Lavanya's context or Emmanuel's context will be very different.
That is true.
Each one of us is looking at doing something very different. Okay, we might end up delivering accommodation to everyone.
Yeah.
But what we are doing as a service is very different. So
that is exactly why I'm asking someone else to give me an example in their context, please. Lavanya, do you want to give me your context, please?
Yeah. We'll talk about the HMO co-living.
HMO conversion?
Concept, yeah. Concept.
Okay. So I think, sorry, the HMO, you know, the concept that you're thinking of, the app that you're thinking about.
Yeah, okay. Not only the app, website, as well as the co-living concept in Watford.
Okay. So within that context, within the co-living concept, if you focus on health, so for example, the communal space that you have, you make sure that it is very health driven, that you're going to attract a lot more people. Either they jump on a treadmill or not, you're automatically going to attract more people. Okay. The co-living space is a lot more, you know, if you read about that guy that I introduced you to, he's kind of created like an interactive space for people to engage and sit, and so there's a bigger communal space. There is things to play with. Remember, we are social beings, so we want to socialize with people living in the HMOs or the co-living spaces, so our mental health can be better. So when you present your concept to people, that it is green driven, it is health driven, it is, for example, social driven, and that way people will look at you and think, wow, this does not just feel like a for-profit business, it feels like as if the person really cares. Does that make sense? Remember, people don't give a shit, or people don't care how much you know, and that is the honesty. Okay, people care how much you care. If you pursue experiences, you will show care, and that eventually leads to people caring for you. And the compounding effect of that always means that you're going to get more business. Does that make sense? Let's say you drive your HMOs or co-living spaces towards green, health, and well-being with larger communal spaces, people playing, all sorts of things. Do you think you're going to attract more investors than other people out there?
Of course.
Okay, so you'll attract more investors. You'll be able to do, instead of one, you'll be able to do more than one. You'll be able to do 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time, leading you to get to a point where you could be sitting on 100 HMOs pretty quickly, maybe on a lot of debt as well. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you make a lot of money like that when you're getting external, but can you see that you could grow pretty quickly if you pursue experiences rather than results?
Yep.
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. Anyone else wants to give me an example in their context so I'll give you more clarity? Seti, bro, you have a decent business. Do you want to play with this? I don't know. I'm not sure if you can hear us. Anyone else? Suraj? I'm not sure who can hear us.
Hi, Jack. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Hi,
hear you,
Jack.
Suraj. Yeah, Suraj. I can hear you
Yeah.
now.
The
Okay,
only thing I can see from our business is the service we provide to our tenant.
Yes.
I mean, the tenants, they're just a phone call away, and straight away. I mean, they don't need to wait or anything. If they need anything, we're there within about half an hour.
Okay.
Our team's there to
That's just providing normal service, Suraj. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: how many properties do you manage?
17.
17?
17, yeah.
Okay. If you went ahead, hypothetically, this is not, just an example. If you went ahead and bought 17 treadmills from Facebook, okay, what would you pay? Like £100 each? You can get really decent treadmills for £100, right?
Yeah.
Like really decent ones.
That's right, yeah.
That would be £1,700. Okay. Do you think when you put that treadmill, your tenants will think you really care? Raise your hand.
Well, yeah, they do.
Okay.
They will, yeah.
Okay. If you care, if you start caring, and if they see you as caring, do you think they're going to go and talk with other people?
Yeah, they will, yeah.
Do you think that will bring you more tenants waiting in line to take your more rooms?
Sure, they will, yeah.
If you ask for that as well, remember, it's not just one-way street, right? If you start to show that care, and then every now and then you walk into your space one evening and tell your tenants that, look, if there is anything we can do for your well-being or whatever, and you invest that little 50 or £100 a month, and then ask them, do you have any more people that are looking for more rooms? We might have more rooms to rent out. And then likewise, if you take pictures from your rent-to-rents with stuff like that, and you show it to other landlords when you're pitching, in your, for example, marketing material on your website, and when you're pitching, that you'd be able to show more care, that you really care for your tenants. If I'm the landlord and someone comes to me to pitch for rent to rent, and if I see that person who manages really cares for the tenants, what is my perception now? That this guy is going to care for me too. Yes? Yes, no?
Yep.
I want you to understand, when you start to pursue experiences, that you will attract a lot more business in the first place. Okay? And this can be applied to, this is just one example. I can give you a million examples of the smaller changes you can make at your property. Okay? Like literally so many, it's unbelievable. Okay? Go out there and for example, one of my cousins is actually doing dance classes for free, online dance classes. Okay? Tell your tenants that we found some free dance classes. Would you like to attend?
Sure,
what are you doing? You're not paying any money. You're showing care. you're pursuing experiences. Raise your hand if you know what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. You've not spent any money. You just found someone who gives you a product for free. You give it to your tenants, and now they think that you care, and then go and spread and talk about you, talk about your personal brand, talk about your company brand, and then you attract more business eventually. This is in essence called sustainable businesses. They're more sustainable than other businesses out there who are just there for results and competition. You're not even competing with anyone. Raise your hand if you've lived in a HMO where they actually really cared. I've lived in so many throughout my life, at my initial stages, that no one gave a shit. All they cared was rental at the end of the month. Raise your hand if you've been through that experience.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all they cared was rent. And I don't remember one. In fact, I had a landlord who had actually timed his the radiator supply, the gas supply. There was no supply through the 6 months of summers, and even though it was cold, we couldn't switch on the heating. I left that property. I thought the guy was crazy. This was a month of April. We can't use radiators, and the temperatures was like -1. I left the property. Okay. Do you think how many people would leave their property much quicker? Because they don't really care. Pursuing results in comparison to pursuing profits. Oh, sorry, pursuing results or pursuing profits in comparison to pursuing experiences. The concept here has been fed wrong. Does that make sense? I'm going to ask everyone here, okay? Because I don't know how many can hear us. Esther, am I making sense here?
Yes, Jack.
Yes, Jack, yes.
I want you guys to really get a gist of this, okay? Pursue experiences, not results. Keep this at your conscious level at any given time. It's not about results, it's about creating experiences, which means it's about being more green, more sustainable, more caring, for that matter, right at the top of the game, more caring. You care more about people than results. You care more about people than business. You care more about, all of that. Creating experiences in your personal life as well as your professional life. Okay? One of the biggest reasons I started all of this whole thing that you see of training, mentoring, kind of all of this, is because I wanted to share experiences. I wanted to share the thinking patterns that I have learned, and we are practically applying in our business. Remember, you will not be able to apply everything at a time. It's slowly and over a period of time. And the fact that your personal and your professional brand and all your marketing and your sales is experience driven rather than results driven. When you prepare your pitch deck for your investment, that it is experience driven rather than results driven. Yes, a pitch deck still has to be results driven, because no investor is going to come and say, hey, take my money, you don't have to give me profits. That's not going to happen. But at the same time, if they see it as experience driven, they are highly likely to invest. Raise your hand if you believe, if your pitch deck is more experience driven, that means they're highly likely to invest. Raise your hand if you believe that. Okay. So now you're working on your challenge and your pitch decks. Make sure that you're more creative with bringing more value and bringing more experience, and being more creative in terms of bringing a more sustainable business and not competing with the rest of the market. Okay, that you will go over and beyond creating experiences rather than just pursuing results. Okay. Anyone has any confusions so far? Okay. Now, let me tell you why I picked up all of this is because the reason I picked up is because we are looking to create this fund. And then I want to make sure that this fund is experience driven. I believe if we create it experience driven, that we will get better results anyway than the rest of the market. Okay, that we bring more creativity to this fund and bring more sustainable business into this fund or projects into this fund than just the standard conventional projects out there, or for that matter, standard projects investments out there. Okay, that is exactly why all this sharing is coming. Everything that I do, and I think a lot of you might be able to see this, that a lot of what I do it for experiences. And I want to make sure that when I look back at my life, that I've lived a very good experiential life and internal life rather than results driven life, which you will never catch up with. Okay. Well, almost never. So has anyone got any questions? Jasim, any questions, buddy? Lavanya, any questions? Jennifer, any questions?
No.
Emmanuel, any questions?
I'm just trying to understand, Jack. Experiences, are we talking about like maybe adding a bit more value to what we already provide as a service?
Yes, but more in a caring way, experiential way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you go out, spend loads of money just because you want to bring value. No, you may not be able to make that money back. Remember, as much as it is an experiential game, you always have to make sure that it's profitable as well, because if you're not creating a profitable business, then you are in trouble, right? Okay. But you want to make sure that it's experiential in the sense that you're bringing something of value while it doesn't necessarily cost you a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. But remember, once you're done with that project and the value it will bring to others in terms of their emotional well-being, their financial well-being, or for that matter, any kind of well-being, and they will look back at you, first of all, it's an internal satisfaction. And the second is that you bring value to the market, which allows you create a larger personal as well as a professional brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, everything we do is just an internal experience. You know, whatever I'm sharing is an internal experience and nothing else. You literally go out and walk and you look at the greenery. It's an internal experience. You're sitting in a meeting and someone is swearing at you. And if you've learned to detach yourself from your external results, if you've learned that, then what is that? Just an internal experience, right? Something that didn't quite go right today. How can I improve it next time so it doesn't quite go that way? But the experience in itself is always internal, right?
Yeah.
But then one must always obviously learn to detach themselves from the results as well, and pursue experiences. That's within the context, right?
Yeah.
If you've attached yourself to results, guys, don't be surprised that you're living in fear of investments. You know, you look at an investment and you're scared. Oh, am I going to lose money? That's because you're attached yourself to results, right? Instead, attach yourself to experiences, because you can create those experiences, right?
Yeah.
And then that way you tend to shed your fears as well. Okay. Remember, I started this with fear. The aim is to lose fear. If you keep yourself attached to results. Sorry, someone's got noise.
No. This window, so at least it's some airflow. Yeah.
So for those, you know, like, keep yourself attached to, or for that matter, attached to nothing, but pursue experiences. Okay. Do not be attached to results, because all you're doing is you're practically creating more fear in your mind. Does that make sense? Okay. Everything that we experience, pretty much everything that we experience, is nothing more than just internal. Okay. And if you want to create an amazing life, create experiences in your life. Okay. Eat well, drink well. I don't mean alcohol. Live a more better experiential life, and that applies to your business as well. And when you start to do that, you're going to see amazing results. You're going to start to see people coming after your personal brand, coming after your professional brand. They'll come after you rather than you having to go and chase people. In fact, this is what happens when you actually pursue results. You go and chase people, but when you start to pursue experiences, you'll be surprised that over a period of time, people will pursue you. No worries, Geeta.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about. Any more questions, Emmanuel?
No. So in short, it is an obstacle then when we are pursuing results, then, isn't it? It's an obstacle to our.
It's a major one. It's a major one. Yes. And I can tell you that when you don't have enough money coming in, it is not easy to not pursue results. But you need to create a pattern here where every time you make a decision, that it is experience driven rather than results driven. Okay, because if it's not, you are gonna shrink. You're gonna, or for that matter, you're gonna struggle to expand your professional and your personal brand, as well as scale your business for that matter. And then you're competing with the rest of the market, which is very conventional style of doing business. And at the same time, you are not necessarily creating an amazing life, experientially amazing life. That is the main aim. Why are you all here? You're here because you want to create an amazing life.
Yeah.
That comes from experiences, not pursuing results, guys. Okay.
So that's how people end up becoming greed driven then, isn't it?
It is.
Because you just want the results. So at any cost, you just do your things.
And then what tends to happen is that you don't attract enough people. You don't do enough business. You don't bring in enough investors. You don't bring in enough potential clients and all of that. It's all a part of the journey. It's all a part of the part. It's just if you look at the whole thing, it's just a one connection. Every time you make a decision, you are pursuing experiences and not results. And everything else correlated to this will start to change in your life. This is not an immediate action that you're going to take and it's going to bring loads of results in your life. It's over a period of time compounded.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
Emmanuel, at the same time, I would say just to remember on your budgets as well. Okay.
On your budgets, yeah. Of course. That is obvious.
Thank you for that.
Esther, any questions?
No, Jack.
Okay. Jasim, any questions?
No, Jack, sorry, I'm just on another call. I'll finish this and I'll come back.
Kalpana, any questions?
Jack, I'll just put something in the sidebar, and I think I understand what you're saying. Is it about, let me just clarify, is it about making a difference to people? Because it is kind of making a difference to people's lives and standing out, be unique, right? But like Lavanya said, be mindful of your budget, right?
That is true, yes.
Okay.
That is true. But remember, I want you, the next time when you leave this session, I want you to focus on experiences rather than results. I want you to be more creative with what you do so you could bring better experiences for people around you, including your personal life. Okay? And that overflows to your business, and that overflows to you attracting more business, that overflows to your stakeholders, to your investors, and so on and so forth. It's an overflow of everything that you do in your life. If you bring more care to your business, what is business going to do for you? It's going to care for you. If you bring more care for your investors and your stakeholders, eventually people start to care for you and your business, right? Let's say you have an employee and you care for that person. What is that going to bring to you?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to care for you. That eventually leads to a better business, right? You go out and you come across a rude person who is working at a shop. The reason for that in many cases is because the owner of that shop is results driven.
Yeah.
Okay, and that overflows to employees, and that eventually affects the clients or the customers. It is a very simple process to understand. Okay, if you care and if you pursue experiences, you're gonna literally build your brand much faster. Okay, and you need to be more creative. You need to be very, very creative with this, because sometimes it's not easy when you look at your business, say, how am I going to bring experiences in my business? It's not necessarily easy in every case. Okay, but if you look deeper, if you be more creative, and if you think sustainable, green, caring all the time, you'll be surprised at how little of money you need to be able to create that. Very, very little money, I promise you that. In this day and age that we live in, very little money. Okay,
thank you.
Next in the list,
sorry, Jack, with the fact that we are dealing with young people, ex-offenders, and looking at mental health issues,
yes,
what could be created that, one, they couldn't walk off with it,
yes,
and two, it's something that young people would appreciate?
So in fact, that is a big one. Okay, one of the biggest things that I believe an ex-offender would need is life coaching. Okay,
Yeah,
and I mean
that already. Yeah,
I mean to say more like Tony Robbins style coaching, or Dr. DeMartini style coaching, or for that matter, there's many kind of life coaches out there. Okay, I'm practically a 90% life coach myself. Eventually I've become one. but you do need life coaching, and it's not just about providing that life coaching. It's about creating a systematic way to keep encouraging them to keep taking coaching. Okay, and that, I believe, can be done by WhatsApp groups, can be done through messaging these ex-offenders, somehow finding a way to keep encouraging them for coaching. Okay, that there is, and then the fact that they always should have at the back of their mind that there is someone out there who cares for them. Okay, that they can reach out to someone when they do need help. Okay, I believe that if you can record all these live coaching sessions and give them access to these recordings, okay, instead of you physically having to invest your time, you just have these recorded sessions, 10, 20, 30, 50 hours, it doesn't really matter. And that your job at that point just becomes keep nudging them to watch these videos. Okay, at the same time, I think you are doing an amazing and a very noble thing to help these ex-offenders. But at the same time, that message somehow needs to be conveyed to landlords. And that can be done through your material. So your marketing material, your website. And the fact that, if I may request everyone here, if you come across a landlord who's got a property that you can't take on, please forward it to Jennifer here. She's doing an amazing job, and then she needs your help. Raise your hand if you're going to help her. Say yes if you're going to help her. I want to hear.
Yeah.
Yes, Jennifer. Yes, Jack. You can.
Okay. Why are we? Okay, I want you to understand this emotional thing. Okay, why are we all saying yes very, very loudly? Why?
Because we want to help her.
Because she cares, and that we can see that. And if you apply the same to your business, you're going to get very big yeses. Okay? Can you see that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay? I want you to get a gist of this. I've got tears in my eyes, okay? When you care and when you pursue experiences, you will get hell yeses with very loud voices, everyone out there coming to help you. Okay?
Yeah.
So pursue experiences rather than results. I've been a results-driven person most of my life. Okay? And it's when I shifted to more experiences, things started to shift, things started to change. I started to say, you know what, I'm going to serve you irrespective of irrespective of expectations. Okay? So if you literally always pursue those experiences and help people out, you're going to see that you will grow a much bigger business at the back end of it. Okay? That is the point I was trying to make at the core. And I promise you one thing, this is the biggest learning you will ever have, which is pursue experiences.
Yeah.
It is a difficult connection to break here. We are designed, like literally fed every day to pursue results. We look at a picture of a celebrity, we look at someone driving a nice car, we look at someone, living in a nice house, we look at someone living the kind of life that you want to, and then we get results driven. If you break that pattern and pursue experiences, you will create that life for yourself. You will create that life for yourself. You will create a decent business. You will create a decent life, not just a decent life, experientially a 10 on 10 life. Okay? Remember, the life you're living is absolutely nothing but just internal experiences. Nothing at all. Absolutely nothing at all. Okay? And the fact that if you start to pursue experiences, that you will live an amazing life. You will look back at your life and think, wow, I've just lived an amazing life. Okay? And that I've helped people in the journey. And then at the back end of it, I've made a lot of money. And just always make sure that you make money as well. Because if you are creating experiences or not making money, I am not in that favor. I'm not in that favor. You want to always make sure that you make money at the back end of it. Okay? But at the same time, primary is experiences, secondary is making money. That when you take a decision, it is not profit driven, it is experience driven. Okay.
Right.
So does that answer your question, Jennifer?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
And then you want to make it more systematic, because you can't go out there and start giving coaching sessions. You want to record them 10, 20, 50, 100 hours. For example, this is getting recorded. There's a purpose for it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that I don't have to come back to this subject. Someone asks me, here it is, done. Yes. Now my job at the end of it becomes nudging people. Please watch these videos. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Muzzy, any questions, buddy? He's normally walking when we do this. I don't know if you can hear us. Pami, any questions on this context? Not sure if you can hear us either. Seti, any questions? Okay, I guess we are done with this session, and then wait for me, because we might have another session after this. But thank you for watching. I believe that literally at the core of my being, that we live an internally experiential life, and the fact that if you take decisions based on creating those experiences, that you're going to not just live an amazing life, but you're going to create amazing results for your professional and your personal brand.
Jack, just one question actually, just before. Sorry, I did hear you. I'm just basically fidgeting around in the background. Yes. I didn't want to disturb everyone. Jennifer, you have an amazing, obviously we got linked up during the week we spoke. Didn't get a chance to see you, unfortunately, yesterday. You were in my local area. looking forward to us meeting in the near future. You need to share your story because, again, all of us probably will deal with landlords at least 1 or 2 touch points in a week. But if we can have the story and your why and what you're doing and stuff, that's a lot easier for us to turn around then speak to a traditional landlord who wants a traditional working tenant, and that's all they want. To change mindsets. So you're going to have to, that will be an amazing thing for you. I did share it in the chat as well to say that that just share your story, and then that'll be obviously a little bit, if we can connect to the story, we can basically then try to connect the story to the landlord as well. So I thought that would be very powerful. My 2 bits worth.
Yeah, in fact, before I stop the recording of this session, remember your personal and professional brand needs to be story driven. But that means when you start to create that story on your website, on your marketing material, the fact that it is experience driven, and when you start to share that story, people will be able to connect with you on emotional level, leading you to attract more business, eventually, in your case, Jennifer, attracting more landlords.
Okay.
Thank you, Seti. Thank you for that.
Just one more thing. As always,
go ahead.
That's my thing.
Go ahead.
The beautiful share about you, and when you were talking about literally when you're sharing the experiences and whatever, not got me thinking. Basically, we've got a couple that we manage ourselves with HMOs and whatever not as well, and we want to set up we're already in the process. Not we are going to set up. We are in the process of setting up like a boutique kind of HMOs within the borough. So anybody living in this area will have a Hanson's. It's like a hotel effect kind of thing, something done, a really nice thing. But the really, really good share in regards to like giving them something like, you said treadmill. I was thinking a little bit more like a pool table, games boards where you can basically we have isolation. We've got a lot of, because I'm in the grind on a day-to-day basis. I know there's loads of landlords out there who just got empty properties. Empty HMOs are just doing nothing now, but they're so rigid in their ways. They don't turn around and want to trust like the social aspect of things, of helping out and stuff like that, because no, these people don't understand how properties are looked after. They're going to ruin my property and whatever not. And because unfortunately, this is a sad thing about it, because a lot of them are unencumbered. There's no mortgage. They don't care. That's the sad thing about it.
It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy to break those old psychological patterns, Seti. Someone who's already 60, 70, they've kind of lived the life that they've kind of lived, and they've got this connection where they think, someone's going to damage their property, or they don't want to look at the new styles of doing things and the social side of things, or being more caring and bringing more experiences. It's not easy, I must say, but at the same time, if we keep nudging, if we keep conveying that message, and then if we can, with some clarity, convey that message, like the way I'm trying at the moment, I'm only trying really, that I can convey this and I can somehow get you to break the pattern of pursuing results but pursuing more experiences. If you can break that, and then if you can go and convey that to someone else, that over a period of time, people tend to get that. Not in one single meeting, not in one single session. It is not easy to break those psychological patterns that have been created for years. Okay. And even when for example, now that doesn't mean that you've just created a new pattern. It's when you start to implement slowly that you will break the pattern of pursuing results and creating new experiential patterns, that you will slowly break the olden patterns. So it takes time, and you cannot break those patterns unless you actually start to do them psychologically in your mind. Remember, every time you take an action, it is another wiring in your mind. And then as many times as you take that decision, so for example, if you take, let's say 100 decisions a day based on pursuing results, and then if you calculate the number of days you've lived in your life, since you obviously remember, now look at the number of connections in your mind. Now you have to create as many connections for experience for you to be able to create an equilibrium or some sort of balance, right? It's not easy. It is very, very, very difficult, guys. Okay. Unfortunately, there is no magic trick to that. There is no way I can tell you that you can do this a lot more easier. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're results-driven people. We've just been taught that. We've learned that from schools. Unfortunately, schools is the worst thing when they teach you results. All they teach you is results, right? Exams, you gotta get your 10 on 10. Worst thing to get, I mean, schools were built to create slaves, just so you know, guys, okay? And they are creating slaves. So remember, when you pursue results, what are you? Raise your hand. What I mean when you say pursue results, you are a slave of the system. Okay. When you start to pursue experiences, you are coming out of that slavery, and you're actually creating what you call life, what I really call life. Okay. And then at the back end of it, you create businesses, and the back end of it, you create a strong personal, professional brand. Not easy, bro. Just so you know, to convey this, it takes time. It takes keep nudging. It takes keep drumming that in the minds of landlords, saying if you pursue the social aspect or more experiential aspect, you're gonna attract a lot more tenants, and better tenants for that matter. Better tenants for that matter. Yeah.
Totally. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this. I'm gonna stop recording, but stay with me here.
Oh.